So, Spectre Divide is coming out today, basically. As the time of recording this video, it's not out, but by the time I probably post it, it probably is out. So, should you play Spectre Divide? And what the fuck is Spectre Divide? Well, a lot of people just know it's Shroud's game, and a lot of people have called it shit online, and I'm surprised they did. Because a lot of people also just think this game is going to be a shit game. And I think that's kind of a horrible way to take games. Like, if I only played Valorant for the rest of my life, someone might as well just fucking go through my door right now and shoot me in the head. Because Valorant is just not always gonna be my favorite game. There are a lot of things that make me upset about Valorant, and I think that's a lot of things that I like about Spectre Divide is what Valorant doesn't have. There are also things I like about Valorant that Spectre Divide doesn't have, and I'll talk about that together. So, is Spectre Divide worth playing? Yeah, I would say it is. Is it better than Valorant? Jury's gonna be still out on that. But by the end of this video, I kind of hope that you guys decide whether or not you want to try it. And to be honest, I think you should always try it. Always try everything once. Except hardcore illegal drugs that are very addictive. I'd probably strain away from those. So let's talk about the good first. The first thing I really like about it is the concept. The basic premise of the game and the whole reason why it's different from any other attack shooter is the fact that it's one mind but two bodies. So that means you have two bodies active on the battlefield at every time, and you can switch your consciousness between the two at like a button's press. You gotta keep track of your two bodies, make sure that the other one, when you're playing one, is nearby or in a safe spot. The way they do this is so that your Spectre, which is your other body, can actually hear stuff around it. So if there is noises like footsteps or whatever, the Spectre gets like a notification saying you're getting, this danger or whatever. So there's two reasons I think this is really cool. One of them is the fact that it keeps you in the game longer. So if you do die once, you're still in the game, you still got another life to live. Another one that's pretty cool is the fact that there's so much player expression between having two lives that you can control. You can trade yourself, you can use abilities to flash for yourself. There are probably a lot of things that the players haven't scratched yet, considering it was just in beta, but I can't wait for when the game finally goes public. That expression is going to be all over the place, and there are going to be like lineups for your body. There's just going to be so much depth to the game just because you have two bodies you can work with yourself. I feel like the premise of that is just insane within itself. Now, the other thing I really like about it is the fact that the gun shooting is very different to Valorant. It's ADS heavy, and if you don't know what that is, that aim down sights. Aim down sights, you look down at the barrel of your gun, and the good thing about it is that it's 100% accurate. If you guys don't know, Valorant is not 100% accurate when you ADS down. Some of them are, which is just the fucking, I'm pretty sure it's just the Guardian and I'm pretty sure it's just the scoped weapons like the Op, Marshall, and Outlaw. Those are the only ones that are 100% accurate. But the Phantom, Vandal, the Spectre, all of them have very big bullet inaccuracies for the first shot, accuracy spread. And this game doesn't have any of that problems because the game follows the crosshair bullet. So if you are shooting and the bullet crosshair moves, that's where your next bullet is going. So that's pretty awesome. Also, the fact that you don't have movement penalty if you ADS, another amazing thing. It's just Call of Duty or Rainbow Six. I guess it's the best way to put it. Rainbow Six is probably the best. That type of shooting is really, really satisfying because you get your shots in and you feel like the shots actually land. It's super nice sometimes, especially when you know that if you had the shot and the bullets didn't fucking fly wherever they wanted to, you'd get the shot down. And I've proven myself a lot in this game that I can probably get the shots down as long as I didn't have that bullshit. Very satisfying when it does work out.
Yeah, okay, I found it from here. Oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh!
The other thing I really like is the fact that there's so many different types of guns. You never really feel like you're weak. Unlike in Valorant. I feel like in Valorant, it's you save, and when you save, it's the Bucky, the Marshall, the Sheriff. Those are basically your save guns. Or the Stinger if you got enough money. But those are your save guns. In this game, there are 5 tiers of weapons. There's the cheap one, tier 1. There's a second cheap one. There's a third one, which is the mid-ground. The fourth one, which is the premium rifles. So your Phantom and Vandal. But in this case, it's the Blackout and Reaver. But it's the same premise, kind of. And the fifth one, which is the Op. And I think what's really cool with the economy is that they made the Op super fucking expensive, so it doesn't piss you off every goddamn round. It's also harder to use because it's harder to just quick scope on that weapon. You kind of have to stand still and choose it. You can't really quick scope with that weapon as well as in Valorant. Quick scoping is not really that well done. The movement penalty is pretty hard on the operator. It's the only gun in the game where you have to stand still, And I really like that's how they did it. Because imagine being fucking Halo fucking 360, bro. I'd be pissing my pants. And the thing about tier 4 weapons, even though they are definitely better than a tier 2 and tier 3, the tier 2 and tier 3 weapons are still pretty decent. And I can do good damage with them. Not only that, I can probably kill with them. They're pretty good in terms of damage numbers. Although, even though the tier 4 is just better, if they mess up the shot, there's a good chance with your tier 2 or tier 3 weapon that you could probably kill them. One of my favorite ones is the burst. The burst is severely underrated. I don't know why it's not used more. The burst is just insane accuracy, and the fact that you can get like a burst and just headshot and get double headshot, it's an instant kill basically. Really, really well done. I really like the way they did that. The last thing I want to talk about is the sponsors. I think that's an amazing way to do abilities, because I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm a little bit sick of being winning around and then all I hear is fucking Ray's crying from the fucking hills and I die instantly because there was no counterplay to that. Like there's just things in Valorant that kind of piss me off. Ultimate abilities were definitely one of them. Yes, I understand that's the whole premise of the game, that this thing could change the round, but some of them are just rely on the era of being tactically smart to being tactically what the fuck, this is bullshit. Spectre Divide doesn't have that problem because all the abilities in the game are pretty tame in comparison. I think the most broken ability that you can have in Spectre Divide is like a trap that is invisible and it slows you. All of them are pretty good. I wouldn't say any of them are really broken. Some of them are definitely require more skill than others to use. Like some of them definitely better than others. I think the best one in the game is probably Morgan United. The smoke is crazy, and not having smoke in this game is kind of not a handicap. Pinnacle's also really good. A lot of them are all good. I don't think there's anyone that's necessarily the worst in my head, other than maybe Umber Reconnaissance. I think that one's a little bit weaker than the rest. I think the abilities are super fun. Morgan United, for example, is super cool because you can throw your smoke and throw your puck at the same time. Because the game keeps in mind that you are using two bodies. So they do things like this. Another one is like you can stim yourself and have a fire rate boost. But wherever you stim yourself, you can teleport your Spectre to that spot. I think it's also pretty sick that you can customize your character. It's not maybe the most esports thing, but I think it's kind of cool that each character, you know, makes sense to get some cool customization in this game. Because if you want to make good skins, it's kind of cool that it's not just going to be gun skins. And I don't know how gun skins are going to look at this game, but I think the fact that you can have, you know, customize your character, that's pretty nice. Okay, now that we stopped sucking it off for a bit, it's time to talk about the bad stuff. There's definitely things I kind of hope they wish to work on. Number one, the UI is horrible. Horrible. The fucking fact that there are 5 tiers of weapons is cool. Don't get me wrong. But the UI is just fucking messy. I don't know. They didn't explain how to like buy for your team. So you can actually buy, because every weapon comes in a set for one for you and one for your Spectre. You can buy one gun for your friend and you can buy the other. But I didn't know how that worked. It was very confusing. The UI just, it's not very clear. I do think it is cool concept ideas of the UI that you can buy, and I think the way it works is fine. It's just the way it's designed. It looks horrible. It's overwhelming as fucking shit, and I know that's not what it's trying to be, but I don't know how they're gonna fix it. It's a little bit of a hard game to get the UI right. UI pretty fucking horrible in my opinion. But moving on to the next thing. Movement in this game is weird. I know I was saying earlier and how, you don't have to move in order to be accurate, because you don't really move in this game. The movement feels fucking really, really slow and not fun to do. I feel like there's too much weight to my character, and my character is should not feel that heavy to use or jump around. I don't know. It feels very dissatisfying to jump, b-hop, or do any movement in this game, to be honest. It's not very nice. I don't think the movement's very good. So that's why when I said people like kind of stand still and I headshot them a lot, the gunplay is pretty fun, is because the gunplay is the only way you move in this game and shoot in this game. Like I rarely have been killed because someone like out movemented me. I don't know if that's a word. Most people who strafe WAD or AD just really slowly, it's very easy to counter because it's so fucking slow. I know that's probably the intention of the game, to make it more tactical like, but at the same time, it didn't have to feel this choppy-ish. It feels kind of rugged and slow, not as well as when I went back to Valorant. Valorant felt so smooth like butter, and CS is better than Valorant, so imagine how much fucking shit this must feel compared to CS. Yeah, no, the movement was bad, in my opinion, but it could be worked on, but I don't think it's gonna be worked on anytime soon. I think the whole point is that they slowed it down so it's easier to headshot. It makes sense, but I'm not a big fan of it still. Another thing I don't really like is the fact that you still can't really tell your teammates from your enemies. The outline's got to be better. My teammates have shot me. I've shot my teammates. The outline's so small. It's very hard to tell. And they don't even put the names there either, so you can't really tell if they're your teammates. And because the fact that you can customize your characters like crazy, that doesn't help the fact that it's not like you don't have a Yoru on your team. You just have another Kai on your team, so it's a little bit hard to tell. I don't like some of the animations because some of them take way too fucking long for the sponsors, especially. Some of them just feel a little bit slow. Again, the game feels a little slow, and the maps feel very big. To add to the fact that the movement isn't good, the maps are huge. That's another big thing. The maps are just so big for 3 people. And I get that it's supposed to be like, a big map because you have 6 people kind of, but not really still. It's still a 3v3. So it's just very odd that you have such huge maps. Flanking takes fucking forever. And you have these weird like barrier zones that don't allow you to flank early on the defense. To me, that's kind of weird, but I understand why it'd be pissing off to have such an early flank. But I feel like it should just not have this problem of which the maps are just fucking gigantic, all of them. They should just be a little bit smaller. I don't know how they're gonna do it with the next one, but I hope there's a more close quarters map. Another thing is that if your Spectre dies and you still live, your character keeps the gun, but the Spectre loses it. But there's no reminder to buy it again, and I feel like a little reminder would have been done just right. But honestly, that's kind of a nitpick. I think the main things I take away from here is that the maps are too big. It's kind of hard to tell your teammates from your enemies, and mostly the movement doesn't feel great, in my personal opinion. And those things are things that could be worked on, but in theory, I don't think they're going to get worked on really well. I think the UI definitely needs to be changed, and Valorant changed their UI after how many fucking years. So don't get me wrong, there's always a chance to improve, and I'm pretty sure they will. Does this game have the potential to beat Valorant and be the Valorant killer we all hope it would be? No. It really won't. Valorant is it's such a different game, and to be honest, this game more reminds me of my old time in Siege and CS more than Valorant, because Valorant had the problem of the fact that, all these characters, they're just so iconic, and I feel like Spectre Divide, that little individuality you don't really have. Like, you can't be a Yoru main, you're gonna be like a sponsor main, but it's not gonna be the same as being a cool fucking character. So I don't think anyone who really loves Valorant for the characters and the lore and stuff are not gonna really like this game as much. But for the people who really love the gunplay, who really love fucking esports or just gunplay in general, they're gonna move to this for sure. I think, well, not completely, but definitely gonna have a kick out of this. Whether or not they like it all the way, who knows? But I think it's definitely a game that is worth trying, especially if you love the texture genre. But do I think it's better than Valorant? No. I don't think it's better than Valorant, because Valorant and this game are completely different in terms of what they're trying to attract. I think the gunplay is way better. It's way more satisfying, and I'm probably going to be playing this game for that alone. But will I think that Valorant's going to get this? But do I think this game is going to last as long as Valorant? Who knows? I think judging a game and hoping a game dies is stupid. I want all games to succeed because I love variety in games. I just think that this game is going to have a hard time building an audience that sustains as well compared to Valorant. Because Valorant is just, it's just built such a cultural phenomenon. To enter that space now that Valorant exists, I feel like this is gonna be a game that starts off really strong, is gonna have a tough time after a while, kind of like the finals. But I kind of hope this game makes it out, because it's really, really cool. If I had to rate this Spectre Divide beta out of 10, it would be a 9. It was really, really, really good. It just, again, some things really made me not great. But for overall experience, it was really, really fun to play. I want to try out in this game because this game is pretty fun, and I hope to see you guys on September 3rd. And watch the Ace clip, even though the mic is really shit.
Got 2. 4. 5. Come on, ace it. Give me this. Woo!